Hello everybody, welcome back to Sin City Living. Jason here bringing you today's video. And today we're going to talk about a regression strategy. So most of you guys already know my feelings on regression strategies, but we're going to go ahead and show one and give a brief explanation of the whys and what the weaknesses are. So regression strategies are the strategies that are all based on bringing your bets down. And there's a few different reasons why players do it. In some cases, it's a superstition thing or the gambler's fallacy. I see it a lot with gambler's fallacy. I'll see a lot of players that will only play 2 rolls and then bring their bets down. That is the gambler's fallacy, thinking that the previous rolls will influence the outcome of the next roll or have any indication towards the odds of the next roll, and that is false. Every roll is independent of every previous roll. And then the other side of it is one of the more amusing things that I find, which is the whole concept of playing with the casino's money. There is no such thing. Once the money is in your possession, it is your money. It's not the casino's money, which is why when I do talk about strategies that deal with things like that, I don't say casino's money, I say impact on your starting bankroll. You know, if you win a couple $100, now the impact on your starting bankroll, if you bet those couple $100, is 0. Doesn't mean you're playing with the casino's money, because you're not. You're playing with your money. Thank you everybody for watching this. Thank you very much to our patrons. I am putting at least 1, if not 2 videos a week up on that site as well, so please check them out. And don't forget to check down below the links for that online casino I found. It's really good for sports betting. So here's what I mean with that. So any of these inside numbers hit, we'll forget the 10 because the 10 actually pays more. Each one of them pays $70. So I see a lot of regression strategies that go like this. They'll take 2 hits. Now they're on a $25 table, so they start out with $270 across. So they'll take 2 hits to get their 140. Right, that's what it comes out to, 140. And then from there, they will say, take me down to 135 across. So at this point, they actually have a $5 advantage. They've actually made $5 on the roll, and now they only have their $135 in play, in action. Most dealers find regression strategies to be something of a joke almost. Like, we see a regression strategy and that tells us that we are not going to see this player win unless we catch an absolute monster roll where everybody on the table wins. You know, I'll definitely see that where it doesn't matter what the strategy is, the roll is so monstrous that everybody makes hundreds of dollars at the minimum. While the real strategies, the good strategies that are based around trying to catch that hot roll, win a few thousand. That's the only time we ever actually see regression strategies win. They usually point to a couple of different things for the mentality of the player that also affects moving forward. The entire point of playing dice is to try and catch that 20-minute or higher roll. That's the goal. You want to catch that one roll that's 20 minutes or higher, or that one number that just rolls way outside the statistical likelihood. So one number that rolls 10 or 12 times. And with a lot of strategies that are based around trying to win money on the hot roll, all you need is either one of those things to come into play in order to make thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars, off your $100, $150 initial investment. When we see players that do regression strategies, we tend to assume, and we are right 99.9% of the time, because the assumption comes from having seen this hundreds and hundreds of times over our careers, that this player is not playing to win. They are playing not to lose. Very, very much a difference. Just like the die-hard come bettors that talk about how the bet and the come is your protection against a 7, your insurance against a 7. You're not playing for a 7. When you're playing for that, you're playing not to lose. Regression strategy players have that mentality that they are playing not to lose. And all that means is that they lose at a slower rate, but they also win at a much, much, much slower, much more reduced rate. When we see players that do regression strategies, at most we might see a mid-press, but we're probably going to see a mid-press plus a lot of same bets because they're playing not to lose. They're playing scared money, even though theoretically the way they put it, they're playing with the house money. And instead, they're just not winning. Now let's think about this. So it takes two two rolls of the dice before they will come down, two hits of their numbers before they will come down, and drop their bets down, and now they have made a $5 profit. Now, the average roll is 2.5 to 3 rolls of the dice, and that means that on average, player's going to win $5. On average, they're going to have the 7 out occur right here at their reduction, in which case they won $5. Now, think about this. They won $5. They need that second hit just to win $5, to have a $5 positive impact on their starting bankroll. Now, after that, if they were to do any sort of presses, they're collecting less. So if they just did a same bet, they'd be collecting $35 or $49 if it were a 10 or a 4. So let's think about this. So if a 7 rolls on the first or second roll, and you have a 1 in 6 chance every time the dice rolls. You could say a little bit less than 1 in 3 times, because you have these long rolls also. So a little bit less than 1 in 3 times, you're going to have that 7 come in the first couple rolls. If it comes on the first roll, you have a $270 loss. $270 loss. If it comes on the second roll, you have a $200 loss. A little bit less if the first roll happened to be one of these. And that's assuming that first roll actually hit one of these numbers. Could have been a horn number and then a 7 out. So within those first 2 rolls, you have a $200 to $270 loss. After that second roll, you have a $5 plus. $5 plus to your bankroll. So how many rolls of the dice, how many 7 outs on the third roll would it take in order to make up for one of those early 7 outs? A whole bunch. Now here, if we are in any sort of mid-press situation, we are once again at a very, very, very low impact to your starting bankroll. You have not made all that much money because you're stacking a lot of it up. Now, if you catch that hot roll, that's awesome. Unfortunately, you're a couple beats behind everybody else that has caught that hot roll, but there you go. At least you're making a little bit of money. And that's the big problem with the regression strategies. Any strategy that is based around trying not to lose has points where it loses so much that it is next to impossible to make it back up. It's very, very, very difficult. What regression strategies are pretty good for is for if you want to play for 10 hours. If you want to play for 10 hours, then regression strategy is not that bad. If you have a big enough bankroll to be able to eat those first or second roll 7 outs, which occur. I've certainly seen 5.7 outs occur in a row, back to back to back to back. Now those are rare. Those are, well, I won't say rare, but they're uncommon, and they're uncommon enough to really stand out to us. They're about as common as those times that we see, 5 or 6 7s come out on a come out roll. It happens. We see that every single day, and we'll see 4 or 5 back to back 0.7 outs occur every single day. I'll see it at least once a shift. And that's just going to annihilate a player like this. Now, don't get me wrong. That's going to annihilate a mid-presser. That's going to annihilate a power presser. That's going to annihilate just about everybody. But if you catch that statistically unlikely roll, this player is going to make less than those other players made. Because again, they're a few beats behind. They're a few beats behind, and that's going to hurt them. That's going to hurt them in the long run. They're going to have less money to work with, and they're going to be behind on their bets. So when we have this hot roll, it's not going to factor in as much. I'm going to do a comparison with some real rolls that I witnessed that I actually wrote down. So we'll compare this one to probably the mid-press, and we'll see how it all comes out, okay? So thank you everybody for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now.